Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the field. Get ready for a shakedown. Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. This fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown.
Shakedown.
Here comes Philly Shakedown.
Let's go.
What is going on, guys? This is the Philly Shakedown podcast. My co-host, Philly 500, and we have a special guest, Joe Castro of Philly the podcast. The man that does the intro for this podcast is here. So if you can't match a voice with a face, there it is. What's going on, bro?
He's a made man. He's a made man in the Philly Shakedown podcast family.
Yes,
he's
sir.
a capo, just like you know.
Said, yeah, not
He's
many
made.
men can wear this title, and I'm proud to
That's
have
right.
it, man. But I thought I was gonna have to, maybe do it live or something. I didn't know how we were gonna do this, but I appreciate y'all letting me come on, man. Especially so last minute. As you can see, I'm stuck in a hotel, so I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, anytime, dude. It's getting to that time where it's we're waiting for training camp. Obviously, there's no mini camp, and we're gonna see where this goes, man. All the competition, and we're just we've got a few more, got a little bit of time left until we get this competition rolling, and we'll see what happens. But the first thing I want to go over with everybody is the new signing from the other day. I can't say it. I know you said you can't say his name. I can't say his name. We all probably can't say his name, so we're saying that now. Jaquisky Tartt, can't say it. Safety, 30 years old. What do you guys think about that signing? Depth signing, guy that can potentially compete for that starting spot for Anthony Harris, or what do you guys think?
I'll let Joe go first.
I'll take it first. Look, I mean, somebody on Twitter said that the Eagles heard everybody upset about the logo, and so they went and signed a safety to shut us all up. That couldn't be more true. I think that this is exactly what we needed, right? The Eagles had so many pieces, and I know we all talked about it, right? And talked about how the only spot that we were a little bit worried about was probably the safety spot. This doesn't, this obviously isn't adding a honey badger. This isn't adding, top of the line, top flight material guy. But I said this on my show. I feel like it raises your floor at the very worst. Like what your worst case scenario was last week prior to having Jaquisky Tartt. I feel like it got a little bit better, right? Like you're gonna now have a little bit of a better safety group, and then you have a veteran. So I'm happy you have a veteran now. That was one thing that I felt like we just did not have in that safety room, especially. So I don't know what he's going to do for this team. I don't know, if he's going to be that next MalcolmJenkins type guy or whatever we might want. But I think it's a good signing. And I think it was a Howie signing. So I liked it. I do like it.
Nice.
I'm just trying to figure out how his name's pronounced again. Jaquisky Tartt. I tried to say that with a half-numb face last night.
It's Jaquisky?
I couldn't do it. I think it's Jaquisky is how it's pronounced. According to eaglesDraft.com, Jaquisky. I'll never say it right. Jaquisky Tartt was a absolutely fantastic, unbelievable signing. Not that he's, Jesse Bates or whatever, but I think the Eagles had a hole at the safety position. They needed a guy that could come in and possibly play. For a 1-year bridge safety that gives you some insurance if Epps isn't the guy or Harris gets hurt or whatever, I think this was the biggest hole that they had remaining. Pause. But it was. So to me, I thought it was a great signing, a fantastic signing. Didn't see it coming at all. Didn't see it coming at all. And I think that this guy is going to. I think Epps is a player, and I think Epps is going to be able to play. I think where he could challenge is he's going to challenge Anthony Harris at the starting spot. That's what I think. But he can play. He can play strong safety. He can play up in the box. He can play free safety. he gives you a lot of versatility. He's played in a lot of big games. We all know about the drop that he had in the NFC Championship game. But even still, our safeties would probably not even be there. So at least he was in position. That's how I look at it. I think it was a great signing, absolutely fantastic signing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to keep a guy like that, then great. I mean, because we were okay with them keeping what was in the building, but, we didn't have no depth behind it, and having Kavon Wallace, that's all talk, no play. And, there's really nothing else. Reed Blankenship, is going to try out, but I mean, I don't know how much he's going to bring to the table. So do you think that next year, I don't know if this goes towards comp picks, so I'm not really sure. I know the James Bradberry one is a comp pick, but do you think that next year the Eagles will not draft? They'll be in play for some type of safety, whether Jesse Bates doesn't play on his franchise tag, or maybe a big Derwin James signing, or they put a lot of money into that position next year?
Yeah, I guess I'll go again. But no, I think next year is going to be such an interesting year. I think this year we were looking at, last year we were looking at this year and being like, oh, it's going to be interesting what they do. We'll have a little bit of money freed up. We have options as far as some of these veterans that we can move on from. And for the most part, this offseason, while there were a lot of surprises, I think it kind of played out how we saw it kind of playing out. Like I think we all knew we weren't going to go crazy in the free agency market, but we did something that I think that was kind of surprising. But at the same time, we were like, okay, that's kind of like a Howie move. Like the Hassan Riddick, we paid him good money, but we didn't pay him more money than any other team probably was offering. So it was a Howie move. We got a good deal there. You kind of equate that to like a Javon Hargrave, right? And then you look deeper into the playoffs, into the offseason, and you're able to get some of these guys. So next year is going to be very interesting because, again, you're freeing up a lot more money. You're freeing up a lot more cap space. You have all these draft assets. I'm going to jump off. I know next year isn't really a defensive, latent draft, and it is strong with the offensive, prospects, especially quarterback. But I'm going to jump off a ledge and say they're probably going to look for somebody in that safety room, as far as a draft pick. I think it just makes more sense for them, kind of where they're going right now. And you look at what they've done over this past couple years, they don't put money there. You even look at Malcolm Jenkins. We lost him over like $3 million. It wasn't like we lost him because he wanted 10, 15 mil. He was ready to come on a team-friendly deal, and we didn't even want to pay that. So I think we want to get young. I think we want to go the draft route. We'll see what happens, though. We have a lot of assets, money and draft capital, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because if Jalen Hurts goes out and plays well, and you have those two first round picks freed up to go wherever, I mean, it's early to tell, but I would guess that they could go defense and defensive back, like defensive end maybe and defensive back. I could totally see something like that. I think a safety is not out of the realm of possibility. You talk Derwin James now. There's no chance that the Chargers are going to let him go. They have to be crazy. But if he did go somehow, I would on in a second. Like I'd be on that so fast. You know what I mean? I would be on it quick. I would jump all over that. But I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. But, I do think you need a long-term answer at safety. I would like to see it through the draft if possible. You guys always rise and fall, so we don't even really know who will be there yet. But as far as this year goes, I think Tartt is a great bridge safety for next year. It gives us a year. It's the same thing with James Bradberry. I think you have a bridge corner, a bridge safety, and I think things kind of just turned around after the Eagles traded for A.J. Brown. The Eagles went into attack mode. They went into, listen, we got A.J. Brown all of a sudden. We've got a team that can not just compete in a few years, but can compete next year also. Yeah. So they started building not just for 3-4 years down the road, which is mainly how they built this year, but they also started adding pieces for this upcoming year because they see the potential. That's why Bradberry's here. That's why Tartt is here, but most of it is built for the future. They did a really good job. And I got to give Howie Vision credit. They did a great job on building not just for the future, but for this upcoming year to compete as well. You got to give them credit.
Yeah, we thought going into the free agency that it would be more of the total opposite that we were kind of thinking of. We were thinking that maybe in free agency they would have went more offensive, and then in the draft they would go all defense. But they did a really good job, and I think Joe said it about the Hassan Reddick, and I mean he came here for a lot cheap. I mean we wouldn't have got him. I mean he was going to cost a lot more money, but I think he wanted to play here, and obviously he was the pick before the Derek Barnett pick on top of it. So I thought I think Philly was right. After the AJ Brown pick, they were very aggressive and they were adding as many pieces as possible, I thought. And look, I was a big fan of, I made a promise. I said, one of those Georgia defensive tackles are going to be a Philadelphia Eagle, whether it was Devontae Wyatt or Jordan Davis. And I was a big Jordan Davis fan. And I was talking about him for a long time. And I think he's gonna do really well. I think they're gonna unleash him. I think they're gonna take the leash off him. I think they're gonna pin his ears back and he's gonna attack, and that's what's gonna happen. So I feel like between the linebackers, getting the Kobe Dean in the third round, I mean, to see what he's gonna do for this team, and we're stacked at that position now, which we were complaining about pretty much this whole beginning of this offseason. So I feel a lot better now. I feel good. We look good on paper now. I think the final piece to all this is down to Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, and obviously Jonathan Gannon needs to have a crucial, really big year for this hybrid scheme defense. So,
yeah, well, let me say this. I don't think we're done yet. There's still moves to be made. All right? There's still
I don't even know what you can add. What else could you add?
I think the next piece is a running back. I think they're going to add a running back. You still got to add another running back. I still think you need a big back. I think you need a short yardage back, a goal line type back, a Jordan Howard type back to go along with these guys. Miles, Kenneth Gainwell, Scott are all very similar. You could bring Jordan Howard back, no doubt about it. And they may do that. That may be the plan. I wouldn't be surprised. But the only thing with him is I worry about his neck. He keeps having these stingers that cost him like 7-8 weeks. When he plays, he's great. You have Bleacher Report still talking about Kareem Hunt to Philly for Andre Dillard. I'm all about that. But I don't know that they would do it. But I would absolutely love that. That's something I definitely got to talk about on my channel. But I think you got to try to add another running back still, and I still think that's the next shoe to drop. I'm not saying it's going to be a big, huge signing or a big, huge trade. But I think Jordan Howard, at the worst, coming back is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I like Jordan Howard a lot. I think the only reason he's not on this team right now is because he's a vet, and they're just like, go chill at home. You don't got to worry about it. We'll call you once the season's about to start. I could be wrong about that. The Kareem Hunt, it would be cool. It would be really nice. And, obviously everybody's going to run back to the J.J. days and be like, oh, this is what we're gearing up. And it could possibly be that. But, I have way more value in Andre Dillard than I know a lot of people do. You know what I'm saying? I've heard Andre Dillard in the 6 for Kareem Hunt. I probably would do that if you have no plans for Andre Dillard after this year. But, I just think that we have to be a little bit cautious on just throwing Andre Dillard in any trade. You know what I'm saying? Because
I agree.
Who do we
I actually agree. I said I would do it. I probably would not trade Dillard. Thinking about it, yeah, I probably would not trade Dillard either. Not for a running back. You give me a second round pick, I'll trade him for a second round pick. But a running back, yeah, I kind of thinking about it. I kind of agree with you, because the thing with Dillard is I think he's expendable. I think he's tradable because he only plays left tackle. He doesn't play any other position, but he's still a guy who could start at left tackle for certain teams. So you got to get something for him. And the Eagles also didn't pick up his option year. So you don't want to lose him for nothing. So I would consider him trading him, but I agree. I tend to agree. Not for a running back. I would do it for a second overall pick. Or not overall pick, but a second round pick, I should say.
Yeah, I kind of want to see what Kenny Brooks can do too. I mean, it's another guy that played with Jalen Hurts as well. There's been a lot of play. I mean, I've never seen a a lot of these guys on offense that have so much connection with Jalen Hurts, Grant Calcaterra in the 6th round. You know what I mean? These guys like, Devontae Smith played with Jalen Hurts in Alabama. And then, him and AJ Brown have this relationship. They've been best friends. They've been working out every offseason. Like there's so many connections with some of these players. Kennedy Brooks is definitely one, more of a Jordan Howard bruiser type back. You know what I mean? That runs between the tackles pretty good. You know what I mean? So I want to see what he does. And, I want to get Miles Sanders back to what he was, during his rookie year in the passing game. They're doing that with Kenneth Gainwell. They've been putting him in the slot here and there. But Miles Sanders, I don't think they're getting the most out of him. I don't know if you guys agree. I feel like they could do so much more with him, and they're just making him just some average back. I mean, I know he has to stay healthy, but, he dances a little bit. He's trying to make these big plays every single time he gets the ball in his hands. But what do you guys think about Miles Sanders just going into this year and what he has to do and how they should use him this year?
It worries me. See, his situation is why I get worried about, throwing. I don't want to say throw away, but, just trading away Andre Dillard for a running back. We haven't really shown that we are going to use one guy as that guy. So if you're giving up, a good value for a Kareem Hunt, especially if he's on his last year of his deal, I believe this is his last year of his contract. That's a commitment, and I don't think Eagles want to make that commitment. I think if I'm the Eagles, I'd almost rather say, give me a couple mid-round picks for Dillard and we'll go get ourselves a running back in the draft next year. Like realistically, if you're that willing to get rid of Dillard. But I love Miles Sanders. I'm a Penn State fan. I've always loved Miles Sanders. Like he's a loyal dude. He stood in Penn State when he was sitting behind Saquon for a while. That doesn't mean anything to the stat sheet. That doesn't mean anything when you're talking about a contract in the NFL, but that means something to me as a fan. But they just, the Eagles just don't use anybody right at the running back spot. Like they have a brand that they want to keep intact when it comes to their running game. And I just don't feel like he really fits that brand. So I love Miles Sanders and I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see any way that he proves to this team that he belongs or to this coaching staff or this front office that he belongs here. Like, I just don't see. He's either going to be way too good and going to want too much money, or he's not going to be good enough and we're not going to want to pay him anyway. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like he's in a terrible situation. And I'm one of the biggest Miles Sanders fans. I really am. But I just feel like he's in a terrible spot right now.
Miles going to have a huge year.
I hope so.
He's going to have a monster year this year. And then they're not going to be able to pay him. That's what I'm afraid is going to happen.
Right.
But I think he's going to have 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. I think he's going off because the guy had no touchdowns last year. He still averaged 5.5 yards per carry. Miles' biggest problem is he's got to stay healthy. Just stay healthy. But this is a guy that can break an 80-yarder at any point in time. So I think Miles has a big year. I do. Just hope that they can find a way to pay him. I'm not a big believer in paying backs a ton of money. They have to be a very special back to pay them big money. So that's going to be the problem with Miles. That's going to be the issue.
Yeah, I get it. We have super chat from Texas Eagle. Thank you so much, man. He said, if Hurts bombs this year, I think his replacement is already on the roster in Carson Strong. Anybody a big Carson Strong hater, or does anyone think that Minshew? You think Minshew actually might? If he's not traded, and it worries me because I feel like that this guy's going to be on the trade block. He's going to be secretly on the trade block until week 9 of the season, and the Hill quarterback goes down, they'll trade him. So I don't know how you guys feel about Carson Strong even going into this year.
I think Carson Strong's got a monster arm. Yeah. He's got a giant arm. If you watch him, his arm is live. He's got a huge arm. Now, I don't know what that means in translation. Like, he's not coming from the SEC, so we don't know. But he's 6'3", 225. He's got a big arm. He may be good. He may be able to play. But he's an undrafted free agent. It's the same thing I feel about Brooks, the running back. I can't rely or count on an undrafted free agent until they make the roster. I do think in the perfect situation for the Eagles, they would like Strong to develop and then next year become the backup and be a stable backup for the next 3-4 years. That's what they would like. As far as Minshew goes, I think Minshew, if Jalen Hurts is playing fantastic, maybe you get close to trade deadline, somebody gives you an offer from Minshew, maybe you take it. But more than likely, they're going to just let him play as the backup. He's $900,000. He's cheap. Yeah. Why? You know what I mean? The only thing you're going to have to deal with is if he wants to go somewhere else and play because he wants to play. So I think their quarterback situation is really good right now. I don't know what to think about Carl Strong. Let's see what he does.
Say Hurts doesn't have a good year this year. Okay, say it's just not a good year. And I wouldn't necessarily say he gets benched, but say they let him play out the whole year regardless of how he plays, just for, just to see what he does. And
give me details. Like what week, what's his numbers kind of looking like? What's our record kind of looking like? And I'll tell you what I think.
Say we're like, I don't know. Say we're like, at the moment, okay, we're like, probably what, 5? Say we have like 5-6 wins right now. Say we have 5-6 wins. Okay, he's not. Say the defense is playing better than we thought they were going to play. He gets benched. Minshew comes in, gets us to win the NFC East. Doesn't win a playoff game. Do you feel that going into next year, if the Eagles don't want to give up so much for a quarterback in the draft, for top 5, you have 2 first-round picks and a second-rounder, do you think the Eagles will take the shortcut and say either they look at a veteran and, like, if someone's available, or they stick with Minshew on a new contract and extend him?
Minshew I don't think they extend Minshew. But I do think if, let's say you're in a situation, you've got 5 wins and you're at week 9 or week 10, and part of it is because Jalen Hurts struggles, I do think they will pull him. I do. I don't think the leash is super long. I don't think he has as much room to maneuver in this this year like he did last year. If he's struggling and it's because of him and he's struggling, I could see a situation where Minshew would come in because they're not going to extend Hurts, right? And they might want to save this season. I think Gardner Minshew could win the division with this roster. So I do think that Jalen Hurts has to be good. He has to be good. Now, we're talking about a situation where it's like week 10 and you're in 3rd place and, things aren't looking good and he's struggling. His completion percentage is low. He hasn't thrown many touchdowns, maybe as many interceptions. Like, it's got to be the right situation. But I can see Minshew getting time to play at that point. But they're still not going to extend Minshew. I don't think they look at Minshew as a franchise quarterback, and neither do I.
Yeah, they have all these bullets ready to fire. I think that they knew last year was what last year was. It was way better than anybody thought it was going to be. That was beautiful. It bought Jalen Hurts probably another year of development, and we're gonna see what happens now. I think 500 was 100% right. Like, this is it now. This is your real test. Last year we were saying that was his test. He was gonna be gone no matter what. This is it. This is his test to see whether or not he's gonna be the guy for the franchise. I don't think that the bar of expectations for Jalen Hurts is as high as even me. I'll say said it like as fans. I think we need. Excuse me. I think that we think he needs to be so much better than he was last year. I don't know if the Eagles look at it like that. I think that he just needs to be good enough that they can keep building the team around him. I don't want to say that they would rather him be bad, but I think that they would be okay in a situation where he and the team understands he's not there yet. And it's going to take him a couple more years, and we can extend him on a cheaper deal and continue to build around him. I think the team would love that. I think the team would be okay with that. But, to talk about Carson Strong, I don't think that there's a world that Carson Strong realistically gets on the field at all. Like, I don't know if he even in the NFL. I mean, that man has went through knee surgery after knee surgery after knee surgery. Like, and it's not even just like, he tore his ACL here and there. He in high school, his senior year, high school, he literally had to get his knee tendons reattached to his bone. Like, he's had some very, very freak accidents. So for him to even be in the NFL right now, I think is a blessing. And I hope that, that would be a beautiful story. But he does have an amazing arm, but unfortunately, you have to stand to throw the ball. So I don't know if he'll make it through a season, especially in the NFL. So I just don't see Carson really catching on, and he's totally different from Jalen Hurts, which I kind of find weird. He's like the polar opposite of Jalen Hurts. Big arm, really a statue in the pocket. So it's kind of a weird picking up. But I think that you're right, 500. I think that if they can build him, you look at like a Nate Sudfeld, right? You look at like you want to go back to Barkley. You want to go back to all these random guys that we picked up, trying to just kind of turn them into a higher pick at some point. So that's kind of what I see out of Carson Strong. Because if you get a 6th or a 5th round pick, you in the money, that right? You got him as an undrafted free agent, so you looking good. So I think that's really what we're looking at from him. If he stays healthy through training camp, you might even get a team that's like, listen, we'll give you a 7th just to kind of see what we can do with him. But I don't see much beyond that.
Yeah, and guess what? We got a guy here, Sports King, that's speaking Greek. He's speaking Greek, and I'm going to translate for you what he's saying, because he's saying things like that. We hope that Hurts gets benched is ridiculous, and we should listen to ourselves, and we keep wishing Wentz fans Hurts is the franchise. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. We want Jalen Hurts to succeed. We all want him to succeed because it's the best, easiest way for the Eagles to build back to a Super Bowl team. Everybody wants Hurts to succeed. I don't know any Eagle fans that wish this guy does not succeed. Even the ones that don't think he will still want him to. I've said this already. How many times have we said this, Joey? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 100,000 times. I think he's going to throw over 25 touchdowns this year for 4,000 yards, close to 30 touchdowns, plus another almost 10 running. I don't know. What else am I supposed to say? What else are we supposed to say?
The thing I love about it is that if you, I've been told that I'm starting to sound like what's his name, Dick Vitale. He said now I sound because I'm excited about this team. So when I was I was the Hurts hater for a long time, right? And then I switched my tone because I'm excited about this team, and now you're unrealistic. So you can't win. You know what I'm saying?
No, and since Sports King's like, no, you don't. It's like you're not even allowed to talk about different situations that can occur, because God forbid if you do that, you think for yourself, maybe that little wheel in your brain starts to move just a little bit because you're thinking for yourself. I discuss all situations, all possibilities, because anything can happen. And the one thing I know about football and watching the NFL, whatever you think can't happen, a lot of times does. Okay, a lot of weird things happen in the NFL. Nobody wants Hurts to fail. I'm so tired of hearing it. No, but we could talk about different situations that can occur. The point is that we're trying to make is simply that Jalen Hurts is going to be held to a higher standard this year because he's in the second year of being a starter and he's got talent around him. You can't say, well, he doesn't have any help. He doesn't have that. He has everything he needs. So it has to fall on him. That's all we're saying.
Better than what they had in 2017. Offensively, I think wide receiver wise, offensive line plus depth, and I mean maybe not the running backs as much because we were monsters at running back, but I mean we still have talent there. If this kid could work out this year, I'm telling you, man, like they could be Super Bowl contenders next year. I can tell you, man, like it sounds crazy, but if he can get these throws and he could be accurate and all this work he's done with, Tom House and Quincy Avery and some of these other guys he's worked with this offseason, like just imagine, like you won't have to give up 2 first-round picks. You'll have 2 first-round picks, second-round pick, cap space. We had 2 great drafts. This one being phenomenal. Yeah. And on top of, obviously, all the additions we have, imagine with another offseason. Now, I want to ask Joe this because we obviously we didn't have him on the show last time, but do you believe the whole rumors about Jeffrey Lurie stepping back after the Sirianni hire? Do you think he's had a lot to do with some of these draft picks? Are all these – because Howie just did a 360. I mean, just totally just changed like dramatically. So do you think that there has been some tug, back and forth, pause, but you know what I mean about all that?
I think that there's a lot of in between the lines that I think a lot of Eagles fans aren't really doing right now, like reading between if you look at like all these firings, right? Obviously those are very surface value. So we all know about that, right? Everybody getting fired we're not fired, but a lot of people from the scouting team and, front office people are moving on. But the thing that kind of I think is very interesting to see, and that it goes with what you're asking, is that we didn't rehire or hire anybody for the position of Andy Weidel. So Andy Weidel is kind of at the, in the most layman's of terms, is kind of your liaison between Howie Roseman and the ownership and your scouts. Now it's Howie Roseman. So I do believe that Jeffrey Lurie probably is falling back a little bit, but it's not, to let Nick Sirianni do it. I think it's more so like saying, all right, Howie, you've proven your stones. Now go out there and do what you got to do. Maybe, the only thing that I've been told that maybe could be happening is they're grooming his son to kind of take that spot and be that guy to kind of learn more, which would make sense. But it seems like Howie's going to have way more of a mouthpiece than he's had before. And, he earned it. I will say that he deserves it after this offseason and last. I will be honest when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But I do believe, to answer your question, I do believe that Jeffrey Lurie's fallen back. I think that, he's always involved. We didn't have to see a lot of coaches get, hired in the past couple decades, obviously, because we had Andy Reid for so long, but he's always very, very heavily invested in what happens with that. So I think that's why we've seen it, or at least it seems like his hand's been in the pot so much, because we've had to go through so many coaching staffs. So he's always there, right? Like he has to make sure that that's going right. But now that I think he likes Nick Sirianni, I think he understands that the relationship between Nick and, Howie is at the very least amicable. I think he is falling back, but I don't think it's for Nick. I think it's, so Howie can just go do his thing. So I hope that answers your question.
I said this to 500 a million times, like that after that first round, okay, after that first round of the draft, and like watching that press conference, like the vibe, like between Nick and Howie, it was just like there was like a different vibe in the air with both of them. Like they have a really good relationship, like they're on the same page. There wasn't like, you could tell when certain organizations with press conferences, you could tell if there's some type of friction or something's going on where they're just saying stuff to say it. It seemed like they generally have a really good relationship, and I think that's part of it. And Jeffrey Lurie telling Howie, maybe you should draft more guys from Alabama. Maybe you got to do that. Maybe you have to draft from the bigger SEC schools or whatever you want to do. So, I was shocked. I was surprised, and this is where we are now. And really now it's up to the coaching staff to produce these players, put them in the right positions, and don't set these guys up to fail, and just run with it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I like what they're doing though. I get nervous with Howie. I mean, I think everybody does, right? I came into this YouTube stuff with the Fire Howie merch and everything, and now I got egg on my face from that. But this is looking good. Like this is everything we wanted him to do, and I think I do believe, I can't say that I know for sure, but I do believe Nick is at least in his ear a little bit. I think that Howie respects what Nick says to a certain extent, because this is not what we've seen him like, right? Like he's out here saying, "I got you, bro. What's going on?" Like he's like, just
what's going on?
It like a different energy. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I like it though. I'll take it.
You good, Philly? You looking about the hunt for prey.
Like, we're Wentz fans. I used to be a Wentz fan when he was an Eagle, but right. I'm a fan of the team's name in front more than the player in the back. The next time I'm a fan of Wentz will be when he's legless. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Time out. He's saying that we're Wentz fans. Do you guys see my shirt right now? One is better than 4.
Yeah, but he's saying that you put, but he's saying that there's an invisible one next to the other one. There's another one. So it's surely 11.
Yeah, there's another one. I forgot I even had this shirt on. I'm like, wait, hold up.
Listen,
I didn't even realize
when Wentz was here. I love Wentz, of course, because he was a second overall pick. He was 11-2 that 2017 season's MVP. Obviously, you got to give him his due for that year. But once he's gone, he's gone. I watched Reggie White leave. I watched Clyde Simmons, Seth Joyner leave. You have to get over being in love with the player in the his name on the back more than the team name in the front. And that's the one thing that I've learned. So now Wentz plays for Washington. I want him to feel pain. I want him destroyed,
Yeah.
But as far as Howie goes, I mean, Howie is Howie. Howie gives me one more good draft, I will apologize, but not until then, because Howie, he does some good things. He's in a lot of aspects. I think he's the best general manager in football when it comes to trades, when it comes to contracts and signings. It's suspect some of his draft picks in the past. It's gotten better the last 2 years, and maybe that's Jeffrey Lurie. Maybe this whole time you're right. Maybe Jeffrey Lurie has been throwing Howie to the wolves, and now he's taking a back seat. Well, if that's the case, then Howie is not only the best GM in football, he's also a saint. He's also a saint for not killing Jeffrey Lurie, because I would have gone nuts, But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I think Howie's done a great job this all season. I think he did a great job last all season. And now, we're going to see if this coaching staff can go out there and put these guys in a great position. I like the coaches we have, other than Jonathan Gannon, who scares me more than anything on this team.
Yeah, you can't believe everything you hear, especially now until like when the season starts, because when Gann said he's going to do the same thing he did last year, you just can't believe any of that. It's all smoke screens now because they're not going to reveal anything. I mean, I really hope, like, if I don't see pressure from this defensive line, I'm going to be pissed. If I don't see Hassan Reddick with 10 plus sacks this year, I'm going to be pissed. If I don't see these linebackers blitzing, if I'm not seeing any creativity, nothing with this defense, if you're putting these cornerbacks 8 to 10 yards off the line, you're playing prevent and you're being cautious of that big play, take chances. We have to play better, man. Like the defensive line, like that's the number one thing I'm looking for right now defensively. Can we at least get pressure at what we have? Do you guys think we can get pressure with this defensive line as of right now with the additions?
We better. we damn sure better. I had Ross Tucker on the other day, right? And we were talking about like O-line and D-line and stuff. And he was talking about Jordan Davis and this D. And I'm like, if we go from bottom 5, if we went from top 5 to bottom 5, you know what I'm saying? Somebody should pay for that. Somebody should pay for that. If we are not, and I'm going to say it straight up, if we do not end in the top 5 in sacks this year, somebody needs to get fired. And I'm talking Tracy Rocker needs to find a new job. I'm talking Jonathan Gannon needs to. That whole defensive staff can go, in my opinion. Maybe you can keep Nick Rowles because he's real young. I'll be okay with that. Maybe he can learn some new tricks. He's not an old dog. But outside of that, nah, they got. I wouldn't have been mad if they told me Jonathan Gannon was going this year. I would not have been mad. I would have been okay with that. But especially now that we just did all this and invested so much in you, it's time to show. It's time to show. And I understand his scheme and everything. It might not really bode well for defensive linemen getting sacks. Well, then send every damn person that you have out of that linebacking crew and get me some. I need to be in top 5 again. I really want top 3, but I'll live with top 5. I won't be too mad with top 5.
No, if Hassan Reddick doesn't get double-digit sacks, there's a problem there.
Yeah.
If they don't know how to use him right, there's a problem there. You figure if he gets you double-digit sacks, then you get Josh Sweat gets you 7 to 8 sacks. Then Brandon Graham comes back, he can get you 7 to 8 sacks. And then you get, 6 by Hargrave, another 5 by Fletcher Cox, let's say. I think if you pull those kind of numbers, I think you're going to be fine. I think you'll be just fine. But you have to get pressure. If they don't get pressure and they don't blitz and they play those corners back and play zone, and they're going to get picked apart again like last year. It's not going to be any difference. You have to bring pressure. You have to be more aggressive than you were last year. It worries me that he's really going to make that dramatic of a change. I mean, you got guys like Nakobe Dean. You have Hassan Reddick. You have linebackers that can blitz. So you have to come and get pressure at all costs, man.
Yeah, I agree. We got a super chat from Duncan Wright. Thank you so much, man. It says, for those who hate the new word mark, say boo. So the new word mark, guys, I actually have the picture so at least everybody can see it. Everyone's probably seen it a million times, but there it is.
My eyes.
Hold on. It's covering the ugliness. So
No. Whoa. Wait, what are you guys talking about?
Wait, what?
Wait, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Are you seeing the same thing?
I can't see. You're blocking the
Hold on. There it is. There it is. So the new word mark for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's official. It's not they're testing it out. That's what the rumors were, that they were testing out to the fans, see how they would like it. What do you guys think about the new look?
I think the Eagles are in need of a rebranding. I think it's been since the 1990s that they've had the same thing. We've had the same thing, and I get a lot of the younger guys are having a hard time with it because it's all they've known growing up. But I'm going to tell you, and I don't have it here, but the logo from the 80s was the best logo. The word mark from the 80s was the best one, and they changed it. So to me, I'm not as attached to it as other people. I do find this word mark to be bland. I wish it was had a little more, but I think that there's other shoes to drop. I think they're not just cheap. The logo and the word mark don't go together.
No,
they've got to be getting ready to change the logo also. I think you're getting a complete revamp of stuff, and this is only the first shoe to drop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't like it. Yes. It's not even so much that I don't like the actual. Do I think it looks simple? Yes. Do I think it's kind of like, they just, what I really feel like happened is like the graphic designer was sitting at his desk and was like, oh, shoot, I got to do the word mark today. And Jeffrey Lurie was walking in and he just like typed it in. It was like, what am I going to do? And Jeff walked in and was like, oh, that's dope. How long? That is fire. Oh my God. But no, I mean, like I agree. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I just don't think like it was really that necessary. But like, hey, if that's what you're gonna do, that's what you're gonna do.
It doesn't. It's plain. It's boring. It's plain. I agree.
There's no outline. There's no outlining. Like, it's just plain white on midnight green. I mean, that's it. So you're thinking that this is gonna be like a slow thing. First, it's gonna be that. Then it's gonna be the logo. Then the uniforms. You think it's gonna be a total? Because 2024, they're gonna incorporate all this new stuff now. That's the news. So
well, let me ask you a question. Was this this was not a release by the Eagles, right? This wasn't the Eagles. This was a leak. Right?
No, it was released by the Eagles.
It was?
I thought it was a leak.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was released by the Eagles. I could be wrong.
If it's a leak, then there's more. There's definitely more. I thought it was a leak because I didn't see anywhere where the Eagles made the announcement.
I would have just rather go back to the old uniform. If you're gonna just go to the Kelly Green. That's what I'm
talking about.
Cool with that. Yeah. Like, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, somebody said it was made official.
It's just
what is this dude Joseph Dotson talking about? I got exposed. Is he talking about because I live in the basement? Hey, Mom, I need soup. I can't help it. You caught me. I don't have a wife. I've never felt the touch of a woman. Don't know what it feels like. I don't know these things. So, yeah, you've exposed me. I live at home. I'm 47. I live at home.
By the way, guys, we have 256 in the chat right now. Appreciate everybody being here. If you guys haven't subscribed to Philly 500, subscribe to Philly 500's link is in the description. If you guys haven't subscribed to Joe Castro of Philly the podcast, subscribe to him. He is a new Mafia member. He's one of the Dons. He's one of the El Capitanes.
That's the best word mark.
Yeah, that's really nice.
The best
I like that. Subscribe to Joe Castro. His link is in the description as well. Covers the Philadelphia Eagles and everything. He's got content every single day. Interviews with some of the Eagles front office people and some of the other people. Definitely check out all his stuff. He does a lot of stuff that I definitely couldn't do, so I give him all the credit in the world.
Listen, you guys, you know this logo, right? You know there's a giant E in that logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a half face, a half an E. I hate it.
the way that Philly Father said that, he's like, it's half a face and half an E. Like, like what the hell is that?
Like, to me, you had the greatest logo in all of sports. That's the best. That needs to come back, Joey. It needs to come back.
Yeah.
That's a half a face, half an E. I don't want to mix my picture with my letter. You know what
I'm saying if you change the word, like the word mark, you got to change everything else. Like you can't just, because you're used to seeing the old one with the logo now, so you're used to seeing that together. So when you see this new one with that, it looks so unproportioned and like fuck is that? I don't know what that is.
Like logo. Low key, it looks like the Jets alternate jerseys. And stuff.
Yeah, it does. I think the team that did a really good job on it was probably I thought the Jaguars did a really good job on their whole rebrand. I think their logo looks a lot better. I think their jerseys look great. Like I've always been a big fan of their changes that they did make.
Yeah, somebody said in here, who was it? I can't see. T. Patrick, I think he said that the word mark matches the 1969 logo. He's kind of right about that. Oh. It kind of does. They better not bring that back. That looks like a Nazi symbol.
1969?
Circa 1969, yeah.
Holy shoot.
It's got an E in the wing, too.
Well, the Eagles logo like originally came from like the NRA or something like that. It was their symbol. It was their Eagles symbol. That's like where it originally came from. That's where they.
Well, there's old German World War II Eagles things that kind of look like that a little bit. I think it's the opposite way.
Eagles history is like low key kind of funny. Like when we started the draft so that we could have the first round pick. First overall pick. Then our first overall pick never even played for us. Then we didn't have a winning season, so we merged with the Steelers. Like if you go through the Eagles history, it's like the weirdest path to get in here.
It's got to be the word mark's got to be for something else, right? It just doesn't seem like if you look at the way the Eagles like this logo is, right? It kind of goes up on the bottom, there's like a curve to it right here.
Yeah.
This kind of fits right underneath it. This does not fit the new word mark. So I think it's got to be something else to drop.
Yeah, maybe.
I hope not. I got all this merch.
You got all that retro merch.
Well, that's what's gonna happen. Like that's what's gonna happen though. Like even with certain teams, like they change. Like I don't care if you just change the jerseys or something like that. But if they totally change it, it kind of sucks. You gotta buy new merch again. But at the end of the day, they probably will make somewhat of a change.
I mean, they haven't changed it since the 90s, like mid 90s. When they changed the initial. I was so pissed off. I hated Midnight Green when it first came. Like, I absolutely hated it. I was like, what are these fake colors? I absolutely hated it. Then I kind of grew to like it a little bit, and stuff. I've become disenfranchised with it. So because it's just been the same thing for so long, I would like an update, a refresh. If you don't notice, I don't buy any new jerseys. Everything I buy is a throwback. Yeah. Because I know it's coming, and
I think we can agree though. I think I like the old Midnight Green Reeboks more than the Nike ones now. I feel like that was a different shade of Midnight Green. I didn't think it was the same color. Like this one looks a little darker, and that other one looked a little bit lighter. So I like the Reeboks a lot better,
and they fit better on us big boys. The Reebok.
We could go all black, and I'll be cool with that. I like my favorite jersey.
I don't like the Nikes. Color. Yeah, I don't like the
all black. I think that is just so clean. Like, get a black helmet too. That would be so clean. I don't know.
I like that too.
We always win in our black jerseys. So
we got Dave Edwards. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. Appreciate it very much. He says, "What up, gentlemen? Of the guys we brought in on 1-year deals, who do you think has the best chance of re-signing next year? I think Kaiser White is going to have close to a Pro Bowl year. What do you guys think?"
Kaiser is an interesting guy. He might. This linebacking situation is such an interesting thing. I don't know who's gonna start. I don't know who's gonna, be that guy. There's so many different people saying different things. Like it'll be interesting. And I had Brandon Godwin on, and he told me that he's saying all throughout these OTAs they were running with only two guys, and it was TJ Edwards and Nakobe Dean. So take that for what it is. Take that for what it's worth. But, those guys look like they're kind of, and it's only two guys. They're literally only running two linebackers. So we'll see. Obviously, it's still very early. So I don't know. The linebackers going to be interesting. I think if I had to pick one person, it might be James Bradbury, if I'm being 100%. If James Bradbury has a good year and they feel like, all right, Darius Slay is probably going to be gone in a year or two, we're going to draft a young cornerback. If he, the young cornerback that we get is that one James Bradbury is a very high-end number 2. And the Philadelphia Eagles as a franchise organization, I know might be a little bit before when, Howie Roseman had all this power, but we've paid money for cornerbacks. When we've seen that, we have 2 good ones, we've paid the money. So I think they'd be willing to do it, so expect, and that kind of goes on with the whole reason why I think the safety position they might try to stay young at, because I think they're going to put money into something. If somebody if it's Kaiser White or if it's, Nakobe Dean, if one of those guys show you like, oh, we need a linebacker, I wouldn't be surprised if they went out and got another linebacker in free agency or a draft, because you look at what they did with wide receiver. It felt like they didn't care about wide receiver for so long. And then they're like, oh, Devontae Smith is kind of good. Quez Watkins is kind of good. Maybe we should get more guys like this. And they go get an AJ Brown. So I could see the same thing kind of happening on the defense, where they see, somebody have a great year and they're like, all right, we need to build. But if I had to pick a guy, I would say James Bradbury as kind of a quiet guy that might really come back, because he's still kind of young. He's like 28.
What about the comp pick though? But he wants that comp pick though. He's going to re-sign him and lose a 3rd round comp pick. Does it matter?
I don't think he get it. You would have to, in order to get that 3rd round pick, you would have to lose more than you gain. So it's more than just him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would have to lose other players, or you would have to just not re-sign anybody. I don't know if that's realistic, 1. And 2, I don't know if it's realistic to think he's going to get a big contract, because that goes into the compensatory pick as well. So if he's going to go somewhere else and sign another year deal with somebody, like kind of like with Steven Nelson. What happened with Steven Nelson? Steven Nelson got a little bit more money, but we're not getting a comp pick for him because we picked up all these guys and he didn't really get that much of a market value. So that's kind of where I think James Bradbury might fall. Obviously don't, screen record or, try to,
hey.
But,
it happens though.
I understand it. That's how I look at it. So I think that the comp pick, if we could get a 3rd round for him and that's how it works out, I think they'd be all about it. But I think that there's more to. I think we would be still building. So I don't really think we would really get it. You know what I'm saying? That's really kind of how I.
Joe, do you think that he's an upgrade over Nelson?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Big upgrade. I don't want to say big like Nelson sucked. Nelson was good, but Bradbury is a legitimate 2. Like he's a good 1. Like I would say he's like top 18, top 20 as far as, and that's being, kind of generous, I think, as a number 1 cornerback. So you put him at number 2 and he sneaks into that top 10 conversation as a number 2. So I think he's a huge upgrade, but I loved what Steven Nelson brought here, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go Jaquisky Tartt comes back.
Like that.
Because they're going to lose Anthony Harris. I think he's going to play well enough, and I think Epps is going to play well enough. And they're probably going to draft a corner early in the draft. So I think they would like to sign him for a couple more years. So that's who I'm going to say has the best chance to come back, because I think he's going to play well this year. I do.
And it gives us some time to learn how to say his name. So I wouldn't be
bad.
Say it the right way, okay?
I'm just gonna say Mr. Tartt from now on.
I'd like 1 second to go back to the uniform stuff. Because one thing I'd like to see, I think would be interesting, is I'd like the Eagles to go back to road games wearing white helmets and then Kelly green helmets at home games. Remember they used to do that long ago. If they could do those, if you've seen some of those, I know you've seen the all black helmets. If you've seen any of those white helmets, they look really awesome, dude. So that would be cool to have road games with white helmets with the white uniform and then the Kelly green at home, or midnight green for you youngins. But I would love.
So you're saying it's time for change? Let's just do it. It's a new era, so let's just do it.
I think you gotta. I think it needs a refresh. I honestly think we need a refresh. When I see the midnight green, I think of the Andy Reid era. I want to think of the Jalen Hurts or this era, something new, man. Give me something new with Kelly green fades back in. That's what I want. My dream.
Well, the Broncos, they started changing a lot of things, and then they ended up getting bought by Walmart. So I don't know how much I want the Eagles to change, but I don't want to be the target.
I don't even think it needs to be a lot. It just got to tweak it, man. You got to do something. But the Kelly green coming back as an alternate to me is I can live with that, because now I can buy a Hurts jersey in Kelly Green, the Devontae Smith, like everything will be in Kelly Green for me. Everything,
We got super chat from Jersey Boy. Says thoughts on Tartt signing, starter or not? Cody staff got to earn their money this year. No excuses winning the division/playoff games.
I think it's a great signing. I think he starts. Yeah, I think he's going to be starting. And I think the guy to watch him start over may be Anthony Harris. But I expect him to come in and start at some point this year. I read something yesterday, and it was on Bleeding Green Nation. Shout out to them. And it was it was a Niners article, and they were talking about the differences the defense is when Tartt plays from 2019. When he's on the field for 50% of the snaps in a season since 2019, the defense is like a whole touchdown better. Okay, so he makes an impact. He's not flashy, but he makes an impact. And I think that's what we'll get from him this year.
Yeah, I echo the same thing. I think Tartt, since 2017, I think he's played 80% or more of the snaps for the 49ers. We talk about this with draft picks. You want good players from good teams, right? So this is a good player from a very good defense. So I don't think that there's anything to be upset about. Do I think he's a starter? Yeah, I think that. And if he's not, I'll even go as far as saying this. If he's not a starter, I think that's a very, very good sign for the Philadelphia Eagles. If Marcus Epps and Anthony Harris are able to take him and say, listen, you're going to just be our vet. You're just going to be that guy that shows us how to, be a pro off the field. Then that's a very good sign, because this is a veteran. This is a guy that should start. So if he's not, that's a good sign. So I do like Tartt a lot. I do.
You're picking up guys that potentially be stars or backups with a lot of starting material. So if you look at even guys like Jimmy Moreland that came here off waivers, I thought that was an underrated. This guy could literally start. I mean, we don't even really know if we have a backup nickel at this point. I think that is your backup nickel behind Avonte Maddox right now. I thought that signing was pretty good too because he's played outside, inside. I think the 2020 game. I think was the Carson Wentz Washington game. We were up 17-0 and we pretty much blew it. I think he had that pick on Carson Wentz in that game. I forgot what play it was, but I thought they really did a good job of getting some guys. I mean, you're getting a safety. I know he's 30 years old. I don't know if Tartt had any injury history, so I'm not really sure if somebody mentioned he got injured, so I'm not really sure about that.
A little bit here and there.
Yeah,
definitely has had some injury issues.
Did you know Jordan Davis is in the chat, by the way?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, he's always here.
Yeah, Jordan Davis' mom just made him some enchiladas. He's ready to sack Dak, he said. That's awesome.
So if you look at the cornerback room right now, and who you excited to see, the room that we have right now, a lot of bodies right now. Do you think they move some of these guys to safety? Do you think they move some guys around just to move them around? Mario Goodrich got a lot of money, $216,000. They paid him a lot of money. Josh Jobe, didn't show up in the SEC championship game, had the foot surgery in December. So a lot. What do you guys think about the corner room right now and just some of the prospects there what you're looking at?
I'm interested in McPherson. There was so much talk about him in camp last year, right? He was he a fourth round pick? I can't remember exactly where he was picked, but there was talk that he would be starting this year. So I want to see what kind of jump he makes from in year two because we heard some good things about him last year. So I'm looking for him to take the next step.
Yeah, everybody it seems like that you talk to, he's always the guy that they bring up that don't forget we got him. Don't forget we got him. They're gonna have to remind us this year, especially him. He's gonna have to remind us that he's here. You have a pretty stacked. I don't want to say talented stacked, but you have a lot of really decent players. You have a lot of guys that could definitely make some noise. Like you said, I like Josh Jobe a lot. I think even throughout college, he kind of underplayed what his talent was. I like Josh Jobe. Zach McPherson, we'll see. We haven't seen much. I don't really know anything about McLean, or I don't know anything about there's a lot of guys that we
Kerry Vincent Jr.
Yeah, Kerry Vincent Jr. We'll see what happens with these guys, but I do feel like we have at the very least we have a lot of guys that can make some noise, make a name for themselves. So it'll be interesting to kind of see them fighting it out. But I don't really think anything too I don't think that anything too like drastic is gonna happen. Like, I don't see James Bradbury not starting because Zach McPherson does. You know what I'm saying? But like, it'll be interesting during like training camp, and if somebody does get hurt, who they intend to put in there and what they do at the slot position. Like, there's some stuff, but at the end of the day, I think it's kind of the top is the top, and the bottom is just going to kind of fight their way out and see who gets some special team snaps.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, though, the starters, when you have Bradbury, Slay, and Avonte Maddox in slot, it's not a bad group at all. You know what I mean? If those guys can stay healthy, holy cow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got Paul Mancini. He said the signing of Tartt tells me more than anything else that the Eagles don't feel Kavon Wallace has progressed enough to make the roster or contribute to the team.
I agree.
He was hyped up,
Nobody
man.
talks about him anymore.
He's the the biggest poser. I mean, I don't even know. He talks more than anything else. I swear. Like, this guy talks so much and just can't stay on the field. I think he had one like fumble recovery on kickoff, or I don't know what the only play he's really made, given the chance. But
Kavon Wallace is a disappointment, dude. So far. But I don't think that they felt comfortable with him. I mean, we all knew the Eagles needed something else at safety. You just did. So it made sense. It was the biggest need that they had left. I'm not looking for Kavon Wallace to do anything this year. So whatever he does, whatever he gives us will be a surprise, a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, he's unfortunate.
Yeah. Next, I want to kind of bring up, because these are my favorites, because I don't know, I'm getting I love these two guys a lot, and I hope they make the team.
Why don't you marry them? Sorry,
maybe. I don't roll that way, but so two guys I'm looking at right now. Pause. But Devon Allen, Britton.
Guess who's here?
Who?
Horny Christian sisters.
Yeah, I got the craziest chat.
We're meeting the
What's
whole
up,
family.
horny Christian sister? Oh, they got a whole family of horn dogs over there. They're all horny.
I'm excited for Devon Allen and Britton Covey, not only for special teams, but to see if one of these guys could be that Tavon Austin type, gadget wide receiver for this offense, kind of like that Mac Hollins type we had in 2017, where he would get his chances and really make the most out of it every time he was on the field. Do you think, and I've asked Philly this a million times, but I want to ask you, Joe, about what do you think about Britton Covey or Devon Allen in both of those guys?
I like Britton Covey. I think Devon Allen is a cool story. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't think he'll really make the team. But I think that Covey has a shot. I think that truly Covey has a shot. I think that if you're looking for a special teams ace kind of guy and maybe something that you can mold into a wide receiver down the line, I think that would be cool. I think that the Eagles are in a very unique situation, because you can make him into anything you want, but the wide receiver room is very stacked. So it's going to be tough for both of them. But if I had to pick one of them to actually maybe surprise and make the roster, I would probably take Covey, because we need a returner.
Yeah,
we definitely need a returner. I do want to say, though, I have 5% battery. So if I just disappear, that's why. And I just realized I didn't bring my charger. That's why you keep seeing me look around oh shoot. But it's if I die,
oh, you're good.
That's why I didn't just run away. I promise you.
All right, so I Covey's got 18 and a half minutes of film. I mean, just specialty. I mean, the guy could do almost anything. I mean, he's 5'7", 175. He's a small dude, but the guy,
5'7", 175.
Yeah.
Man. But the kid literally went to Utah, had a crazy year as a returner, then left, did a mission trip for a year, was in a whole different country, came back to football, was even better the next year, got hurt, then was even better the next year. He's a legit returner. Some guys you just see him and you're damn, he's special. And he's special at punt returning. It's crazy.
He's not afraid though. That guy is tough. That guy will run into people. That guy finds every mouse hole. I mean, that guy finds any little bit of space when he's punt returning or kick returning, whatever it is. He is he's crazy, dude. like that's the next guy I want to get into. The next question is because I haven't asked Joe about this personally. So just Jalen Reagor in general, and obviously not, they've been getting these guys for special teams. Devon Allen had that, they signed him for 3 years. Like they feel like he's already made the team already, or they have high praise for him already. So hasn't played football since 2016. But what's your plan for Jalen Reagor? What do you think's going on? Do you think he's on the trade block? Do you think they get rid of him before training camp, or do you think he's still going to be here?
That's a great question. Look, man, I think we all know how we feel about Jalen Reagor.
Yeah.
Right at this point, like I think that for him, the best thing for him would be to be on another team. I think that at the very least, he needs a different, just a change of scenery. Philly's just not the place for him. Like he wore out his welcome. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's our fault or anything like that. You wore out your welcome. You weren't what you were, tagged to be. You didn't work hard enough to be that. It is what it is. So it's just time for the Philadelphia Eagles to move on. And I think it's time for him to move on. And I think he's ready for that. I have no plans if I'm the Eagles, man. If I'm the Eagles, I have no plans for Jalen Hurts. My only plan is cut him. That's like, I don't even care what we get back at this point. We would save a little bit of money. Just let him go. Let him move on. You know what I'm saying? I hold out a little bit of hope that he has that Nelson Aguilar third year, but like that, when I say a little bit of hope, I mean like little bit of hope. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Pause. Let me just say that, but not that much.
I didn't say mouth hole. I said mouse hole. By the way, pause. But here's one thing, Joe, because they've added so many receivers, like not even guys that are backups or practice squad guys. Like they just added so many bodies, like Weedfall and Josh Hammond. Like they just added as many bodies as possible. Like that's why I think like there's no room for Reagor now, and plus with Covey and now Devon Allen now, like to cover special teams, because you thought maybe with Reagor being drafted here, if he can't be a receiver, then you thought he came here with a special teams pedigree, which he just doesn't have. Like it's the total opposite. The more room he has to run, the more time he has to think, the worse he plays on punt returns. Like I feel like those couple times where he had no chance, then he picked up with no time, he actually ran really well. It's weird. One thing I will say about Reagor is that last year I said that if we brought in a guy like Zach Pascal, I was like, bring in a veteran guy that can push Jalen Reagor. You know what I'm saying? And if he can't beat that veteran guy, that he should, because if you just said Jalen Reagor versus Zach Pascal, Jalen Reagor should win that. You are a first round pick. You are a guy that was pegged to be the wide receiver number 1. You should beat Zach Pascal. If you don't do that, then you don't have a job. And that's how I looked at it. But then you add a AJ Brown, and it's like, I really don't care if you could beat a Zach Pascal like that. Now it just doesn't matter. We really don't have a spot for you. So I don't know. I love Quez Watkins, so that's where I'm sitting at right now. That's where I'm at right now. This chat,
the chat is funny. I love it.
The horny Christian uncle has now appeared. The root canal is what it is,
Yeah, no.
At least that's not my.
I think Reagor's got to go.
Yeah, he's got to.
Because if he doesn't go, he's going to take up somebody's spot. There's no way that this front office is going to say, "Hey, Reagor, you're the 5th wide receiver." They're going to say, "Listen, he's a first-round pick. We've got to find ways to get him going." And then all of a sudden, you're going to see him take snaps away from Quez or Pascal, and I think that's what's going to happen. So, especially early on in the year. So I want to see Reagor traded or cut, to be honest with you. I think he needs a change also. I do.
There was
Pascal's like, go ahead.
Because of Reagor. If I see that again, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be Nick. I like Nick, but Nick, you could go if that's your idea is let's get Reagor going this game. Like, nah, bro. No. I'll smack you myself. I'll walk down to Lincoln Financial Field and I will sneak in like that dude did in the Golden State game, and I will mollywop him. I'm telling you, I'll tackle him. I don't care. I would be so mad.
You usually give receivers 3 years, but I mean, it's already like his personal life is a crappy situation as well. But on top of just not being a good football player, not being promised what he's supposed to be. It's just there's just no room. Like we can't waste any more time. Like, I mean, at least like if he played bad all year, like I don't know what team would have held him on the roster as a starter for that long, and even any other team would have benched him. I mean, Greg Ward like should have had more snaps if that was the case. I mean, they should have brought him in. I mean, Devontae Smith is treated like a number 3. I mean, it's I know there's some quarterback issues with accuracy and anticipation on, where these guys are and kind of missing guys that are wide open, but you got to put the right guy. I mean, you have Devontae Smith go up to the coach saying, give me the ball. Like, and you don't even give him the ball and you pass to Reagor twice in that Giants game. I mean, it's after that game, I was pretty much done after that. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Like, I don't know if it would have switched our narrative on Reagor after that game if he caught that ball. Yeah, probably for a week. It probably wouldn't have lasted that long. But I mean, it makes Nelson Aguilar look really good because even Aguilar, like at least the guy got separation. I've seen Reagor get bullied off the line by corners. I mean, bullied. I mean, he can't even get by the first defender. That's how bad it is. Runs out of bounds, run backs in. I mean, the guy is just he slows down on routes. I've seen it. Like I've seen everything. Like I don't know. He has a bad game. He knows he's going to hear from the fans, and the social media is a whole nother aspect to it where he needs to stay away from that. He's got to stay away from it because that's what's hurting him too mentally.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, he's done.
There goes our boy. Oh, he's back again.
He's done.
He better find his battery. There you go. He's texting. You're back. We see you. You're back. Dude, why is his battery die, but it's still playing? That's kind of weird, right?
No, I think his laptop just died.
No, it's frozen. He's text. It's all good. We knew it was going down. We knew. That's okay. We appreciate Joe coming on though. It was great to have him, man.
Yeah,
I like him on.
Yeah, guys, I put his link in the description. I just put the link in the live chat too. Definitely subscribe to his channel. Everyone sub him up, please. He deserves all the subs he can get. He works very hard.
Works really hard.
Please.
Yeah. No question about it. Definitely sub him up. Yeah, I mean, I when it comes to Reagor, I just think that Howie doesn't like to give up on draft picks. So we almost have to hope that he plays well, like that he has a great third year. But I don't know I don't know what they're gonna do with him though. That's the question.
Yeah. No, I get it. No, you're good, Philly. He says, I'm stuck in a hotel, forgot my try. You're good, man. No, you're good, man.
You're good. We appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
We'll definitely have you on again, dude. No problem.
Yeah, Philly 600's here. My root canal. That picture looks exactly like me. What can I say? Damn, yeah, it's crazy.
I want to. So what about you think the Eagles? Do you think that the media is overhyping this team too much? Do you think do you think it's too much to where like you kind of want them to not talk about us, or do you think we definitely deserve all the hype that we can get?
Well, I mean, what's the hype that we're like? I keep hearing like, what hype are they getting? I'm not hearing anybody saying the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. The Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. We're talking about winning a division that I think is very winnable. I think they should be considered the favorites of the division. I think it's fair to say that they could win a home playoff game. I think they got to at least be the favorites. I think Dallas has gotten worse this year. I think the Eagles have gotten better. And maybe Washington's got better too. But I haven't heard anybody say, oh, the Eagles are going to Super Bowl, So
yeah,
I think they're, people saying that they're going to win the division. I think that's fair. If I was an Eagle fan and I was a 49er fan and I was looking at the NFC East, I would say, I think the Eagles should win a division.
Yeah, and the Eagles have 5 primetime games. They have 5. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, the league wants to know what this team could do, and that's a great thing because I don't know how many we even had last year. I don't even remember how many.
Well, and their schedule is easier than last year.
Yeah.
So why not? Why can't I don't think there's any reason to think that this team can't. If they can't win the division, if they don't win the division, to me, that's a disappointment.
That's true. We got a super chat from Witch King of Agmar. What's going on, man? He says there was a chart on Twitter that showed the best receivers in 21 against press man. AJ Brown was the best, and Reagor was amongst the worst.
I'm not surprised. So I'm definitely not surprised that Reagor's amongst the worst. But yeah, I mean AJ Brown's going to be a stud. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, because I really think if Reagor's still on this team, he's your third receiver. I think they're going to play him over Quez and over Pascal. That may not last long, but I think they'll start out that way. I think if they move him or cut him, then at that point it may not be as bad. I mean, I think if they cut him, I don't think it's till final cuts though.
Really, you think they wait?
I think they wait. See how he comes to camp, how he's looking, how he's doing, and then make it such, because they're only paying. I think it's only going to cost them like $1.8 million now. It's not going to kill them. Yeah,
the debt is spread out now. So since after June 1st, now the debt is spread out for the next couple of years, whatever it is. So
right, a lot of interesting matchups.
Yeah, it's just Miami coming to town. That's going to be a really good. That's going to be good practice with the receiver core that Miami has. Kind of Tua and Jalen Hurts being in that same situation of the front office, pretty much saying we gave you the weapons. Now it's time to prove yourself. I think, and it's funny because it's Tua and Jalen Hurts that were played at Alabama together. So it's kind of kind of crazy.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's going to be interesting. I think the other battle that is really interesting is that's tight end number 2. Who's the second tight end on this team? I mean, are we really thinking that Ortega-Whiteside's going to make it as the number 2 tight end, or is this kid Calcaterra, whatever his name is he going to make this team? We need to find another tight end.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be the guy. I mean, Jack Stahl. I mean, we don't really see him get the ball that much. I mean, he's more of a blocking tight end. I mean, we paid him. He was the highest paid undrafted free agent last year, and he made the team. He did really well. But I would like to see him more in the passing game. If they throw the ball to him a little bit more and just not be a blocker if that's the case. But Calcaterra, I don't know. I mean, I like the way he plays. I like how he pinpoints the ball. Like I think he's got some good speed, and they Hurts and Calcaterra know each other. They played together at Oklahoma before. So
yeah, he has a legitimate shot to make this roster, dude. A legitimate shot.
Yeah. I think he does too. I really do. JJ, I just look. It's one more year on his contract. They're trying to justify the pick. They're just throwing him somewhere. I mean, they know he's not going to have any competition. I mean, he's gonna be on the low end of that depth chart if he sticks it. They kept him at wide receiver. So.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Got Cole's Cowboys. What's going on, man? He says, love the Philly shakedown. Y'all trip me out, especially when y'all say Dallas will be third in the division. Laugh out loud. Would love to collab with a
absolutely
guys.
Absolutely, Cole's Cowboys. Absolutely. We appreciate it. Of course, we love it, man. We love having Cowboy fans in here. It's great. He's in here. I love Weeds here. Shout out to him. We'd love to collaborate someday.
It's just with the Cowboys, and it's not even saying that. I mean, for me at least, I'm not just trying to clown on them, but at the same time, it's like I have to be realistic and say that they're making a lot of switches. Just because you have somewhat, you don't have Amari Cooper anymore, and then you're making CeeDee Lamb your number 1 now. You don't have the number 2 guy on him anymore. So things do change. Jason Tolbert, we don't know what he's going to bring to the table. Ezekiel Elliott's making $18 million. And really, he's only had one good year off of that. Pretty much the first year off of that new contract. I think it was like 1,050 yards. That was really it. He's not really been the same. The offensive line took a big hit. I mean, I think their offensive line is getting worse by the year. And Dak is making a lot of money right now, and he's got to make this. What's the other guy, the other receiver that came back that came off 2 injuries in the ACL, and Gallup came back, and
they're saying he's going to be available maybe by week 3. But the problem is that when they come back from the ACL, they're usually not the same the first year back. It's only Adrian Peterson is the only guy I can think of that was like magical after that first year back from ACL. So if Gallup isn't 100%, and then you've lost Cooper and you lost everybody else, you know what I mean? Yeah. Why the hell is Uber calling me?
Uber.
Yeah, I got ID says Uber. I don't answer Uber. I don't even use Uber.
You take Uber? No, you don't take Uber.
No, I don't take Uber. Never. I've never taken an Uber. What we get is where I live. Sometimes these people, because it's a gated community, they call the house and they're trying to just get in. So they call anybody's number that comes up on the thing. That's probably what it is, but it's weird. I honestly, I like to say the Cowboys finished third first and foremost because I like to trigger Cowboy fans. I like to really get under their skin, especially Mark Holmes because he'll text me. But I do think that they take a step back. I do not think they're as good as they were last year. And I think the Eagles are better. And I think Washington with Carson is better. And the return of so many defensive players, especially in that defensive line, that were injured. So I do think they could be a third-place team. Yeah.
You think Terry McLaurin signs a big deal?
They better sign him. To me, why would you not sign that guy right now? Like he's the last guy that you need to hold out. But I have to think he's going to get it. You know, I'd have to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think you're putting on Jahan Dotson's shoulders in his rookie year. I mean, as a first-round pick, a little bit of a reach for me. I think we were kind of surprised with that a little bit, but I guess, you know, it is what it is. They have a really good offense. It's a good offense. I mean, this is Carson Wentz's last chance to really be a starter. I think this is it. I think once like he gets through this and it doesn't pan out with Ron Rivera, I don't think he'll ever be a starter again. I think this is it for him. So
yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting. The NFC East is going to be really interesting this year. I think it's going to be very close. No question.
Oh yeah, I did see that, Richie. Yeah, they did talk about. There was rumors that came out that the Colts have been looking at that. Apparently, they've made a call to Washington for Terry McLaurin already to see if he will be available. If they're not going to pay him, that they're willing to pay him. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that
would be the dumbest thing Washington. That would to me negate everything Washington did trying to get Carson Wentz. It would destroy because Terry McLaurin is going to be the best receiver Carson Wentz has played with. Going to be the best. So why would you do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. 3 on 2 cups of Dan 500. Why are you extra pink tonight?
Am I pink? Am I
a little bit? Yeah.
You know what it is? Probably it's because of all the damn meds they put me on after going to the dentist. I took all those. They gave me like antibiotics. They gave me pain pills, ibuprofen, other stuff that you can only get with prescription. And you know how that gets me all like a little crazy. And today I'm having like the rebound effect. So maybe I'm just flushed from that. I don't know otherwise.
Is there anything else this week that's been going on?
It is hot in the basement. It is hot in the basement, you know. And I have to, as soon as it's done, I have to clean. Otherwise, mom's not giving me dinner. So, you know, it is what it is.
Is there anything else you've been hearing this week, rumor-wise, or anything like that?
No, nothing. I mean, the Tartt signing came out of nowhere. Really, we didn't even hear anything about that.
No.
The only thing I'm hearing now is like I said, that you know, there's some mock trade stuff with Kareem Hunt to Philly again, which I find very interesting. But I nothing that I really, you know, think is going to happen. I do think the Eagles will go after a running back. I did hear something about Jordan Howard maybe coming back at some point too, you know. So I think they're going to add another running back.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it happening. I could see Jordan Howard coming back. You know, if he doesn't have those stingers, I think he'll come back. I mean, if Kenny Brooks don't work out, I think they keep 4 running backs at the end of the day. So I don't see why not. They want to make a trade or they want to do something. So just depends. But getting a veteran like, you know, Jordan Howard, or, you know, if you get Kareem Hunt, it'd be a short yardage back. I mean, I think he'll do well here in a rotation. So why not?
Yeah, exactly. No doubt about it.
Do you think that they made a mistake of, how do you feel about them not being at minicamp? Like, did you not like the shortened OTAs and the minicamp and all that stuff, or no?
Yeah, I kind of don't like it unless they play in the preseason. If these guys actually play in the preseason this year, then I don't mind it so much. But if we're not getting mini camps and only 6, you know, OTAs, and then they don't play hardly at all in preseason, I don't like that. I don't think it's enough. What about you?
No, I don't think it's enough at all. I don't. I feel like because you have so many new pieces and like you want to get the mentorship thing going on with some of the veterans to the younger guys. Like I feel like even if you're not going 100%, just have them in the building on the field together or something. They don't have pads on. They're not hitting each other. You know what I mean? So I think it's value time. Like I'm just, you know, I'm just gonna let it, roll by me. But I think it's value time. They probably shouldn't have wasted. Like, I understand the injuries and stuff, but they're not going 100%, so I'm not really worried about that happening. And like you said, like I think like if they're going to be playing everybody and like such significant guys are going to get snaps in preseason, which now you only have 3 preseason games, so they got to pick their poison and see which guys are. I mean, like the veterans like Lane Johnson, some of these other guys like Fletcher Cox probably will not even play. Maybe a series, maybe not even that. So right. With some of these other guys, like I think you can agree, Jalen Hurts really needs to have a lot of reps. I don't, because I think we value. I don't know if do you value the preseason games over the scrimmages because it's more live contact and they're not taking it.
I do. I know that they say it's the same, but I don't think that you can replicate it. I think the preseason's more. I think the preseason more important than the scrimmage. Dude. I do. I honestly do. You're going up against another team. You're going 100%. I don't think you can replicate that, dude. So yeah, I when I hear them say that the scrimmage is just as good as a preseason game, I don't buy that at all.
Because how much are you supposed to take from a scrimmage when they're letting Hurts throw every single time? Like if defensive linemen are just going to like run by him and they're not going to you know what I mean? Like it's just. He knows that when he has the ball in his hands in the pocket, he knows he's not going to get tackled. So it's not game mentality. You know what I mean? Like he's taking it seriously, but there's only a certain point you can take it seriously because he knows what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Right. So it's all mental. Like he knows he's not going to get hit. Yeah. It's just crazy.
Absolutely. Totally agree. But I mean, we'll see. I don't expect them to play a lot in the preseason also. I think they're going to do the same exact thing that they did last year. So I think we're going to be saying, why aren't these guys getting enough reps in preseason? Then we're going to worry about how they come out. Now, listen, they came out against Atlanta and they smoked them. They looked great. I think they struggled a little bit against San Francisco the week after. Yeah. But, I mean, I would like to see more reps in preseason. I would like to see Hurts play one series in game 1, one half in game 2, and then not play in game 3. That's what I would like to see.
Because theoretically, if they start him, like if you play him for a couple series in the first game, then treat it like a dress rehearsal in the second game for a half or something, and then you just rest him. He still has like what 4 weeks. I mean, he has almost probably a month till the season starts. I mean, he's got so much time that's left. So I don't see why not to give him, in case like if he gets banged up or something, I mean, he'll be fine by the time the season starts, but he needs to get these reps 100%.
Yeah, exactly. So when we hear Sirianni and stuff say, we're running scrimmages and we think that's good. It's just not the same thing. It just isn't, So I think it's important for these guys to go out and actually play. Now you don't have to overdo it. I mean, but I think what did Hurts get last year? 1 series, the whole preseason.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. If you remember, he was supposed to play week 2 of the preseason, and then he got sick or something. He went to the hospital. Remember? Because he was dehydrated. So he didn't play. Then he didn't play the final game. So yeah, I would like to see him play a little more. I want to see them play. That's just me. And if they play more in the preseason, then I'll feel like, well, the scrimmages and OTAs, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, true. Yeah, guys. I mean, we're getting to that time now where it's I mean, we didn't like we said, we didn't expect the safety sign the other day. I mean, that was really right. out of nowhere.
Awesome. Awesome.
You were out. The funny thing is I was already late going somewhere and I was still home, and all of a sudden I just looked for a quick second and it just popped up, which was really weird. So I think I don't think there's any other moves unless it's for a running back. That's really it. I can see just
I think they're getting a running back. I'm not saying it's going to be Kareem Hunt. I don't know if that really would happen. I doubt it. But I really think like a Jordan Howard coming back, I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen closer to training camp.
Yeah, I agree. So,
and here's the thing, though, for everybody. This is like next week's our last Philly Shakedown podcast until the week before training camp. We're taking a little break. We're calling it a end of the season. I guess season 1, right?
Yeah, season 1.
Yeah. So
whatever episode it is.
We don't know the episode, so we're just calling it the season finale. I think we're going to have Bad Dog. Bad Dog should be on, and maybe the Entertainer too. We'll see if he wants to come on, but it should be fun.
Yeah. And because me and Philly will be gone, I think you'll be gone for what, 2 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to be going. I'll be in Florida for a few weeks, so like around the 4th of July to like the 15th of July. So when our next show after next week will be the 23rd of July, which is like 3 days before camp opens.
Yeah.
So it should be cool.
Yeah, and when we're not around, we're gonna record some stuff. We're gonna have some content out for you guys throughout the week. So we're gonna actually schedule some videos. Obviously, we'll talk about a lot of camp stuff, probably some competition, obviously by position group or something like that. So while we're gone, we're definitely gonna be scheduling and pre-record some stuff for you guys, so you guys aren't, it's not gonna be a lot of content, but it'll be some content for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have some clips and stuff out for you guys. Some stuff that we'll be working on next week, and we'll have it out there. The slow season for us is really like right now until camp starts, and then it's balls to the wall. So this is a chance for us to kind of catch our breath and then get ready for a crazy season.
That's it. So. I mean, other than
Denzel never takes a vacation. Unfortunately, I wish I could say it was a full vacation. I'm going to be away on family business, put it that way. So it's going to be I'm going to be working, and I'll have videos out while I'm away. Just it won't be as much as normal. Yeah, if anything breaks, I mean, I usually take my week and a half off, so pretty much like if anything breaks, I'll make a video. If something like interesting, I'll make a video if I'm gone. But other than that, I mean, we'll have some content out. We'll have some clips out for you guys. Some segments out for you guys when they come out, and we'll have them scheduled. So I finished second in Magic tournament. I came in second place. Fortunately, there's another one on Monday. My mother's driving me to, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But only if the basement's clean. I have to clean the basement. I have to earn my keep, my dad said.
What's going on, Clark?
What's up, my man?
Yeah, so I mean
tomorrow's Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. Hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy it. God bless all of you.
Yeah, definitely. And that's really it. So we'll be back for the final shakedown next week, and that's it for a while, and we'll be back. But we'll have some content out. We'll have content out, both of us on our separate channels. We'll have some anything comes out. We'll definitely. We appreciate it this whole off season, guys. We appreciate all of the support for both channels. And
crazy, yeah.
It's been a crazy ride, and it's been a lot of fun and interesting. So we do appreciate everybody for what they're doing. So
totally agree. Yep.
Anything else on the way out?
No, man, I'm good to go. I'm ready to clean the basement and get my work done, so my mom and dad are happy with me, and that's it.
All right, guys, we'll see you. We'll see you next Saturday on Philly 500's channel. But don't forget, we have 229 still in the chat. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining, especially for a dead time. It's crazy how many people are excited for football as much as we are. So definitely subscribe to this channel if you guys haven't. Like the stream if you guys haven't, and to my boy Philly 500, definitely subscribe to him. His link is in the description, and don't forget Joe Castro's link is in the description as well. He was on the stream earlier, and I just put it in the live chat as well. Just click the link, sub him up, please. He does a lot of work, man. Definitely, he's a family to our podcast, and will be definitely on a lot more with us. So,
absolutely.
But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. You guys have a fantastic day. Enjoy your Father's Day tomorrow, and we'll see you. Peace out, guys.
Peace.